Hi there, I'm Tyler, and we're with the Gauntlet community. I'm playing with some of the most wonderful people on Earth, my AsPac friends from down under, as well as Ryan, who is in the Great White North here in the Western Hemisphere with me. Y'all have seen me playing with the Gauntlet before. Some of the greatest gamers and some of the kindest, most wonderful people you will ever meet are in the Gauntlet community. If you have an interest to see how online gaming is done as well as possible, I recommend you go look up the Gauntlet. We're on G+. We have a Facebook page. You can find us. And we have a Patreon. It is gaming in a way that I didn't even think it could exist before I found them. Such supportive people all over the world able to come together on Hangouts and game, and so many different games and so many different ideas and styles of gaming, and it is just a wonderful thing. And today marks the anniversary of 1 year since my very first game with the Gauntlet. So it is a bit of an anniversary for me. I'm going to have all these folks introduce themselves, but before we start, I want to say that the Gauntlet games have the Gauntlet inclusivity policy, which is really just here to say that we're all friends, we're all here to be supportive, we're all inclusive. It is an open table, and we want to have an experience where we're all having fun. It's going to be us telling a story together. And I also have the X card on the table, which is a safety tool I like to use because it's simple, and I think that makes it accessible. If I believe everyone here has heard me go through this, but for you at home, those one or two who happen to watch me, if you see us, we may put up an X, we may write something in our chat. Someone may even say, "Hey, Tyler, I'd like to kind of X that." And what it's there for is to say, this is problematic for me, or this is becoming a little too personal, or this has gotten a little bit, graphic, or I'm just not having fun. This is hurting my fun. And you should all feel more than welcome to use it. I may clarify just to see what the issue was, but we will take it on back to before that and smoothly move right on into something else. Please feel free and welcome to use it. I've always said in the past that there are no questions asked, and there will be no questions asked. But I do, after reading an interesting article, I do say that if something occurs that you feel like, I'd really kind of like to unload on that. We have our event page. We have our chat. You can even take time here. We're all friends. We're all here to support you. And feel free to unload on that. It's sometimes something will strike you, and you feel like you kind of want to say something about it. That's what friends are for, and we are all friends here. So we're going to be playing Fellowship, which is one of my favorite games. I love it. It's not a perfect game, but it does so many things so wonderfully well. It is kind of a quest game. It's kind of like a Tad Williams story or a Tolkien novel. It is designed as that quest, and we are all heroes who are facing off against a horrible, horrible evil. It is written by Jake Brandoff, who is a very clever designer and does some amazing, interesting things. And I've really enjoyed this game, and I've enjoyed pretty much every single time I've played Fellowship. So it's nice to bring it out for folks who haven't played it before. I'm going to introduce our magnificent party. I'm going to kind of go down the line, and if you would, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your character. I think I'm going to start on my right, which is you, Sid.
Hi, my name's Sid. I use he, him pronouns. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am playing Sebastian Lug Nordwick, who also uses he, him pronouns. I am the Squire. My job is to empower everybody else on this expedition. I'm going to follow along behind you. I'm going to talk you through problems, and I'm going to give you advice. And when you act against that advice, I will do my best to help you. And then, sorry. I don't know why I think it's off. I'm big on talking sense to people, and I'm not very good at stabbing people. So, maybe do those things for me. Maybe we don't fight an entire army tonight. Who knows?
Very good advice from our Squire, who even got a musical sting with his introduction there. Next, let's go to you, Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I also use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Vero, who uses she, her, or they, them pronouns. Doesn't really stand on either of those. And partly because she is a motherfucking spider, to use Sid's term, which is the most accurate description possible. And where the. Yes. Uh, where our squire stands for, telling us what to do and then helping us do it, the spider is just a motherfucking spider. She's big. She's weird. She's aggressively weird. In fact, that is one of my agendas, to just be weird at you. And I am a tauric sort of spider, meaning I've got a vaguely humanoid, human-sized torso, and then a great big spider butt and a bunch of legs. And yeah, I stand out in a crowd. And I leveled up last time, which means that in addition to constantly casting webs around and trapping everything, like last time we ended up using like a web firebomb, and it was awesome. I am now also toxic. So when I attack people with my claws and teeth and stuff, I can excrete a paralyzing toxin that makes them sluggish and gives me bonuses, or paralyzes them until I'm ready to let them move again.
Oh, that's cool as hell. Oh, very nice. Nifty. All righty. Haley, tell us a little about you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Haley, and I'm playing the pair, the fated pair, who are a male named Ire and a female named Freyr, and they look like elven children, and were conjoined twins separated at birth, so they've still got scars along the opposite sides of their head from where they were separated, and both only have their arm up to their elbow. And they also have different agendas. I's agenda is all for one and one for all in protecting the Fellowship, and Freya's Freya's agenda is Viva Revolution, which has been all about the cause of their the organization that they come from. And I too leveled up last session and gained the move Company Secrets. We've already seen that Ire and Freya like to sneak around. Company Secrets literally gives me a move for that, for getting out, getting in, or just distracting people.
Very neat. Oh, cool. And that's kind of a build up from what you did before. And if you would, real quick, just remind us a little bit about the organization that I and Freya are part of.
Yeah, so Ire and Freya come from a mystical organization that has been underground for the last few hundred years. They were once big and booming, and then they sort of splintered and shattered. But all the different branches have similar beliefs, and they're all about fated things and magic and the call of magic and what it wants you to do and following that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And now, Brendan, tell us a little bit about you.
Brendan, he, him. I am playing Sneeze, they, them. A large, chubby mushroom man who has a little growth on his shoulder known as Sniff, who's basically just my hype man. I have the agenda of capitalism ho, seeking a profit no matter the cost, and I am capable of eating literally anything.
Excellent. Oh, fantastic. And I love Sniff. I think that's such a cool concept. And last but certainly not least, Alex, would you introduce yourself, please?
Of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex, she, her, playing Nemenetheth, they, them. Nemenetheth is a dragon, the best dragon. The common eye might see as an overgrown skink or gecko, covered in red and orange. Nemenetheth sees the rightful ruler of everything, traveling with, their vehement companions and supporters to overthrow this overlord.
Fantastic. Thank you all. And I'm going to give a little quick last time on. We have the Fellowship had heard through various means of our overlord, who is the pulling her up. She is the queen of the countless young Orgia, and she is from a continent pretty good distance to the east. And rumors had come back. Our pair had certainly heard of her rise in the east and her endless young, her legions of young who had taken over that continent and now have begun to spread across the rest of the world. In particular, for our interests, coming to our green and pleasant land, a general Crixix, who is... He, like all of the Endless, are kind of insecty looking. They're humanoid shaped, but they're covered in chitin. They are a horde, which is an army type for the Overlord, which, as it implies, is a lot of people, a lot of the enemy. And they streamed across, and we have a map. If folks... if we need that put up, I can put the link up for our folder again. Does everybody have that link, or should I put it up again? Everybody good? Okay. But has streamed across, taking over one of the largest cities of our area called Lord Watch, which was an extremely well fortified town, and in the past had been the great military capital of the whole area. They had just streamed in and overcome the walls, and rumors are that they killed pretty much everybody, though we're now starting to get some feeling that maybe they've captured and are enslaving some of the people there. But we've, has so far, we've not gone to it and is just overwhelmed with the enemy. And they've also come onto the mainland of the island and are beginning to spread out there. The king... which is the human king, because on our island there are many races. We've heard of spiders and orcs. There's only a dragon, but it is, of course, the most awesome and impressive of all dragons. But there are other races here as well. We have some dwarves, we have halflings, we have elves, we have all sorts of races that are part of the game and are on our island, and we probably will meet some as we go along. But the human king, who has the larger area, and at one point this was a kind of connective for the whole island. Now it's kind of fallen into more city-states, and it's a cultural sort of unity that's over the island rather than a big military force. But this king had come to the pair, who had warned him originally, and he has great respect for, to say, we've got to stop this. We're going to rally the people, but you must help us. You must find out what's going on. And so our fellowship had set off because they knew of two plans that the Overlord has, one of which is to capture a town, a community that is on the western front there. Eastern front, across from Lord's Watch, where he's come into the, on our map, the province of Yerrick. I don't know if I'd pointed that out before, but he's landed in that area and is trying to take it over, which is one plan. The other plan being that he is trying to take a source, this general is, which is in a lake on our map on the southeastern area there. You'll see there's a pretty good sized lake in a valley. And we've come to find out that that is a source of power, that in that lake... first off, the lake is super cool because even though it's kind of dark and muddy looking water, when you really look into it, it shows the night sky. And there are those that say you can foretell the future from it. Most importantly, when there's an eclipse of the moon, those that are bathing in it, who have taken the right mystic precautions and done the right mystic rituals, will gain immense power from it. And those are the two types of plans that an Overlord does. He will take on, they will take on communities, or they will take on sources of power. When they take on communities, of course, they're stripping away people from the side of good, and that's not good. Taking away people, bad thing to happen. The sources of power, when they take them over, though, that gives the Overlord another stat, and that is both their hit points. And it's also a truth about them that makes them more powerful. The Fellowship is decided to try and stop this takeover of this source of power. they manage to take it, it'll actually hurt the Overlord, and they will strip away one of those stats. When they arrived, they looked down on the valley and they saw this massive army, thousands upon thousands of the Endless, camped around the lake. And they built this causeway out into the center of it, looking like they were preparing to go out in the middle and try and steal that source of power. And our brave heroes, and brave is certainly the word for them, said, screw that, we'll show them. And so they had gone and they had set a trap, and they'd captured a few of the Endless and found out from them that, that maybe they have a bit of a communication between each other, a telepathic communication of some sort, that Crixus was there to snatch this power for his queen, that he was one of the mates, one of the husbands of the queen, and that he was wanting to bring this island back as a prize so that he might be first amongst her consorts. And so the Fellowship was like, no, we're not letting that happen. No way, sir. And so they charged in to stop it, discovering that Endless was not just a name. It really was, in fact, a massive, massive army that, as they came in, began to surround them and hack away at them. And they laid wondrous traps, and they burnt up tons of them, and they hacked and slashed through them. And yet there just seemed to be more and more and more. Our pair, perhaps wisely, decided to sneak around to see rather than engage, and had encountered in their little tent setup, which wasn't really tents. They kind of build these mounds, and finding the command mound, had located that there were these magical accoutrements to do these rituals. And the pair had snatched up all that was there, but some of them were missing. So maybe Crixus had them with him to try and go do this ritual, because he had walked to the end of the causeway when this attack happened and was like, all right, and jumped off the edge of the causeway and sank down into the lake. Just disappeared. But the Endless continued fighting, and with a bit of urgency, I'll say, our spider managed to grab hold of our orc before he was overwhelmed, or they were overwhelmed, pulled down into a tunnel, and escaped, while our dragon said, screw this, and flew away. And our pair made their stealthy escape. And after this rebuff from their initial attack, they have made it back to their campsite, where I'm guessing our squire, Sebastian, has created a lovely meal to say, hey, y'all, welcome back. How'd it go? But we'll find out that in a moment, because we're going to start, in fact, with you, Sebastian, Lug, around the fire as the first of the companions comes flying in. And that would be Theth. So, Theth, you arrive back at the camp.
I'll waltz on in, sit down in the middle of the fire, warm my hands. So, how's things here?
Fine.
That's good. That's good.
Are you alone?
I mean, can anyone be close to this peerless me? But yes, the others are coming shortly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking like metaphysically. Mutually, are you alone? Yeah. Okay. You guys were just gone for a while. That's all.
Yeah. Yes, we were.
Did you find anything?
We found a lot of things. Yes.
I think there's like this like real pregnant silence in the air. I don't want to push it. You're like a weird, moody adolescent dragon.
And as this sort of silence grows a bit long, Aya and Freya, I believe that you probably make it back into the camp.
Yeah, Aya and Freya are arguing. If we had just thought about this tactically, if we'd gone around the other way, we could have stopped him before he jumped into the lake. oh, sister, that was never going to work. You saw how many of them there were. And like they just come in and they're very preoccupied with yelling about what the plan should have been. And sit down. They're holding in the last session when they managed to get into the tent of Crixus, they also took these writings, which are indecipherable to them. They're like insect language writings. And they're sort of poring over those as well.
Excellent. And it will only be a few moments later before we hear the kind of clicky, chittery noise of our two remaining companions arriving. I am a horrible person. Oh, by the way, I did put up a roll for your party, by the way, there. But I need to bring up our little character sheet because here I am not remembering people's names.
Spider, I'm just letting you struggle trying to remember my name.
I saw
I see
it!
you failing.
We're all looking at the name.
Vero! There we are! Of Vero arriving with I'm still loading, so even though you're right off the bat, I'm having trouble seeing. And there, Sneeze! Good. All right. Vero and Sneeze arrive into the camp.
I imagine if Ryan's all right with it, Vero's actually wrapped Sneeze up in a web and is dragging him towards the camp.
I was going to ask whether you were coming willingly or whether I had to drag you, thinking that you can get them. And why am I ruining?
Yeah, I'm not really struggling, but I'm just there confused, going, but they're not all dead.
And I find it much easier to transport things that are either holding on nicely or not moving. And one of those wasn't likely. So I wrapped him up and I've been dragging him along with me. And I'll just kind of slig him next to the fire and start cutting the webs away so he can get out. Saying, well, that went better than it could have.
I really think we had them by the roots.
I think that may have been the other way around.
And so, Sebastian, they have all arrived back, and some of them look a bit battered. Definitely Sneeze looks a little injured.
Sneeze, have you been fighting?
Always. And then Sniff jumps in and goes, yeah!
Sneeze, have you been crushing others before you in glorious conquest? I told you. I do not want you dragging Vero off to do that.
There's nothing.
When you dragged me, I set up the ambush.
Ambush!
And just looking completely offended that anyone would think that Vero got dragged into it. That's not how Vero operates. Come on.
We are on a very special mission, and we're meant to be focusing, and you're off ambushes and fights and conquests. And I'm just glad that Beth wasn't involved in this.
Turn to look at that.
Look, I'm disappointed in you. I thought I raised you better than this. Are you implying that Vero's trap was anything less than magnificent?
And Vero just nods yeah, I knew you'd back me up, buddy.
I don't know if I can trust you anymore. You have your selfish bloodlust, your need for destruction and feeding has put us all at risk. Look at poor little Sneeze. He's torn up.
But he's happy, so...
If he was happy jumping off a bridge, would you let him do it?
Yes. And I could catch him. in a web.
This spider is awesome.
Is anybody familiar with this language? Perhaps you. And Aya looks at Vero, knowing about the closeness between the spider people and the endless.
Vera would be so insulted by that comparison if she got the implication. Vera will scuttle over and kind of, crouch her legs and underneath her a bit so she's not taking quite so much space, so she can kind of lean in and look over Aya's shoulder.
It seems there must be limits to their telepathy. Otherwise, why would they resort to written communication?
You look it over, Vera, and why don't we have you roll an overcome with sense?
I have so much sense. Not that Sebastian would agree. That's a 12.
Oh, phenomenal. Holy crud. It's starting again. So many good rolls last time. All right.
Like I planned this all along.
You're looking over this, and this appears to be Crix's personal journal. And you can see that he writes in this very almost poetic style, where he speaks of the 1,000 voices, where he speaks of hearing his mistress speaking to him, where he can feel all of those that are his to command. And beyond it, the touch of the queen upon him, driving him, his need to succeed for her, his need to impress her, his need to take prey, to bring back to the nest, so that there will be more young that he will be the father of.
It all smacks of bees, or no, maybe wasps. They're not creative at all, very little planning, and talking about he can feel the minds of all he controls and also hear the hum of his queen and bring back prey, father young. It's not very interesting. I could translate it for you if you want, but really, you're not missing anything.
At the end of it, as you look down to it, it shows that he has come to this place, that his queen has directed him, that there is mystic energy here, and that when he bathes in the eclipse, he will become worthy. He will become a warrior so great that none here can stand against him. And you also see where he has written down this ritual that is to be performed, the things that are needed to do it.
And Vera's kind of leaning in closely, kind of angling her 8 eyes to see, and flicking pages with a claw at the end of one of her spider legs instead of a hand. Gets better traction on the paper, don't you know? And saying, and blah, blah, blah. And he's going to take a magical bath, and then he'll be worthy and the greatest warrior and destroy us all, blah, blah, blah. Kind of what we knew already, I think.
Yes, the ritual. I'm afraid he's taken the components into
yes.
the lake.
If you flick here, he's got the rules of the ritual and everything. You already know how it works, though, right? I think.
Yes, I've never seen it performed, but it is well known.
While this is going on, are we going to maybe take a moment and have a bite to eat and fill our bellies, do we think?
Yeah, so having determined that she doesn't actually care about this book, Vera's going to scramble over to, or neatly pick her way over to her pack and start digging out one of a few large web-wrapped items that's totally just like a wrapped-up mountain goat to go. And since, like all spiders, Vero has trouble with solid food, it's like a spider Capri Sun mountain goat. She's just going to kind of like suck this thing in with big spider fangs that kind of come out of her mouth.
Excellent. Anyone else who wishes to fill their belly, mark off a ration. As I said, if 2 or more of you do this, then you'll get an extra one that can be spent. If anybody's hurt or has a companion hurt, we'll show of hands. I know that Sneeze, you were hurt. Anyone else, you were hurt as well. Vero, you were hurt as well. All right. So we can mark that ration off. And if someone wants to claim that extra one rather than mark one off, just speak up there.
I can heal someone if they want because I'm committed to my Goat Capri Sun idea.
Oh, I like the idea that I and Freya have those like elven biscuits that are mentioned in Lord of the Rings, where it's like this size. It's gesturing. It's like an eraser. It's like the size of a small eraser, and they split it between them as well. And like Freya can't finish her half. She's like, oh god.
I want to cuddle them.
I also, because we didn't have this happen last time, Brendan, why don't we get a bond from you, because you saved one, for Sebastian?
Yeah. I was going to say the scene would be like Sebastian trying to tend to your wounds and like trying to look after you. And I imagine you're not wholly interested in being healed or looked after.
No, Sneeze pretty much is probably, if you're doing that, pretty much treating you the same sort of dismissal he treats Sniff on his shoulder.
Yeah.
If you're looking after him and tend him to like that, you might as well just be a growth on me.
Yeah. I probably like break some food off and like feed it to Sniff. A little Sniff. I love him. I want to hug him, but he has nobody to hug.
No, just a big mouth.
Oh, nobody to hug.
What about... I feel like Lug is definitely not a party person. Actually, yeah. Yes, I'm going to say, what about Lug is my party buddy, but you're not a willing one?
Yes, definitely. I come along to apologize to people when you break things at their house parties.
All right, and Sid, since y'all are having this kind of intimate moment as you're healing them, is there one of your bonds, or would you like to make up one that seems to fit for the two of you?
Yeah, I think I have to use I have Sneezer's back no matter what, with a heavy bolding on no matter what.
Wonderful. Very cool. All righty. And so we have this, kind of licking our wounds moment, as well as slurping some goat moment going on around the campfire.
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
Far be it for me to discuss culinary peculiarities. And down below, this is now, it's the day. Tonight is when that eclipse is. In the sun, down from your vantage point, you can see where the vast army has, as I said before, kind of closed in around that causeway. And from up here, you can see them very much on guard. It's a lot like having, kicked a hornet's nest. And so they're, around that area, and you'll see little groups of them just kind of come out like they're scouting, but they won't go far. Circle around, come back in. It's intimidating looking. And now that you face them, they're very dangerous. Any plans we have? Theth, you've been rather quiet. What do you say as everyone's sitting around munching away at their dinners?
Well, I mean, now that part 1 of our plan is complete, I think it's finally time to go to stage 2. So all we need to do is get rid of this gigantic army, get him out of that lake, get us into that lake, and then perform a ritual. Easy. I mean, there is quite a few of them. So, I mean, it would take us a bit too long if we would, go in, charging from the front, taking them down one by one. It's just be a bit boring. So, I got any ideas?
I think we should all stay here and rest up until Sneeze is feeling better.
Sneeze is always feeling better, right, Sneeze?
Why can't we fight them one by one? I've always found hitting in the face works.
But I mean, there's more to life than just hitting things in the face. And that's a lot of face to hit. So many faces.
Sniff looks up into the sky and goes, so many faces.
Sebastian, surely you can feel the call of the eclipse.
I think this eclipse is very important. I look forward to doing the ritual with you. You know that I would never get in between you and your rituals.
You must complete the ritual. We will take you to the lake.
Me? No. That's for heroes. I'm just that's friend. I'm just here to hang out. You must complete the ritual.
The eclipse is calling to you.
They're right, you're my underling, and that makes you more than worthy to fulfill this ritual.
Okay, how about we make a deal? How about I'll make a deal with you. I will do the ritual if everyone agrees that we don't let Sneeze get hurt.
That's like agreeing we'll do the ritual if the sun doesn't set.
Good deal. Now, Freya, you, or I guess Vera, you were into the books as well. What must we do next?
Yeah, Vera. What most stands out in this ritual you've read as what do you have to do? Obviously, you have to bathe, you have to be in the lake. But what strange complication is there to this ritual?
Yeah, and honestly, Vero skimmed a bit once it said get in the lake because spiders don't get in lakes. That's a bad plan all around. So clearly this doesn't apply to Vero, and Vero doesn't need to know what happens. But it included like reciting some mumbo jumbo that it's really more Aya's thing. And Vero could probably look it up and read it out again if we need to, but bleh.
Well then, Aya, Freya, what is our weird thing that the ritual calls for?
So at the moment of the eclipse, you have to swim down into the black area that will slowly start to spread through the constellation at the bottom of the lake. And then you need to drink and swallow 3 gulps of water along with the magical essence. And when you do that, you'll start to glow. And when your glow reaches the edge of the blackness created by the eclipse, then the ritual will be complete.
Oh, awesome. Oh,
Yeah,
bravo.
all of this is sort of why Vero was going, yep, nope, never doing that. Doesn't matter. Let's skip it.
All right, so on to the next thing. Who's with me?
Oh, I think, like, just to add a detail in there, so if 2 people were to complete the ritual at the same time, the person whose glow hit the edge of the blackness first would be the one to receive the power of the eclipse. And I think, like, that glow is controlled by, like, something internal to you. It's like your ability to quickly connect to the magic and the essence of your personality controlling the magic. So even if you were facing the greatest, biggest physical beast, if you could command the magic in a more natural way, then you could essentially harness the power if you were there at the same time.
Awesome. Oh, that's so good. That's so very good. Well, so we know now what the ritual requires. What plan do we have to get our person into the lake? You're a cunning planner there, Vero. Do you have a suggestion?
So Vero keeps coming up to this, and then we throw someone a lake and going, but why would we do that? That's the worst sort of plan. And yet a lot of these people seem up to jumping in a lake. I mean, clearly this is why Vero and Theth hang out, because we both know that's stupid. So, yeah, I think that I probably am leaning toward the idea that Theth can just fly overhead and drop Sebastian into the lake, and Sebastian can swim, right? That's a human thing. He'll be okay. And if he sinks, that's part of the ritual anyway. And I can probably not do anything, just kind of watch from the shore. I can throw him a rope if I need to.
Theth, you hear this suggestion? What do you have to say about it?
Well, of course. Vera came up with it, so it's got to be the best plan.
Well, Sebastian, they both seem in agreement that dropping you from on high into a lake is a lovely
Sebastian's
idea.
really worried. I could spin a long length of rope and tie one into him and one into Theth, and then Theth could just reel him back up like humans do with fish.
Or
He
bait.
must reach the very bottom of the lake.
And I don't know how deep this lake is. Probably no rope.
That is an important fact that I would like to be aware of. How deep is this lake?
If you were to start to sink from the top of the lake, you should reach the bottom in about 10 seconds. Once you start the ritual, you should be able to breathe, assuming you completed it correctly.
Everyone okay with the should? Everyone super happy to hear should there? No.
Sneeze actually sees the way your face went blue and goes, "You looked healthy there for a second."
Oh man. I think this is going to be a thing where, like, you probably will. It will be difficult to get a yes out of Sebastian. Like, Sebastian's going to be a hard no for this whole thing. But me, Sid, Captain speaking, absolutely happy for this. Happy to be like bandwagoned into this.
So if Sebastian's really worried, I could like try to build sort of a like a balloon for floating, and he could carry it down with him. Just slit it partway down. You'd have a bit of extra air. That way it doesn't buoy you to the top. But that might slow your descent. I'm not sure it'd be worth it.
I reckon we just throw Sebastian into it and just
Yeah,
do it.
Vera's definitely in favor of that. She's just offering things to get you to fall in a lake.
I mean, just grab me and go.
We will need to
if I want to bet on more horses, then, I mean, I am a dragon. I can carry more than one person for this flight.
You may need to, we will need to distract Crixus from slicing Lug during his descent.
Now there's slicing, there's drowning and slicing.
So
It may be that he'll be
send
too
someone.
focused on the ritual, but we cannot take any chances.
Oh, Vera, your webs. Are they water resistant?
I imagine they could be. I haven't tested it because water is terrible.
I wholeheartedly agree. But this may be a necessary evil in our quest. Something we must overcome
Ooh, Alex, you're
and drag him
breaking
off
up.
the.
Alex, dear, you broke up a bit. Would you like to repeat that, please?
Web. Lug ties this to Grixix, and then I pull Grixix out of the lake. Problem solved.
Huh.
Huh.
Can you tie knots underwater? Can you tie knots?
Yes. Yes. Knots I can do.
All right. Well, we seem to have a bit of a plan that we're going to have Theth flying Sebastian, at least, perhaps several others. We're going to have Vero having gone ahead and built a safety line, perhaps even a little diving air bubble.
Vero totally doesn't follow through on that offer.
Okay. But you are going to make the line to the rope? Are you are going to do that, or?
Yeah, Vero is going to spin a long rope. Totally just guessing. Vero doesn't really know or even really care how long 10 seconds worth of falling is.
All right. What a dear companion.
Part of me wants to say that, prepare an area for an ambush. I'm going to trap the lake, but that sounds ridiculous because Vero isn't good with water. So I think I've got to pass on this one.
Okay.
Can I trap Sebastian for ambush?
Not sure you could trap a person for ambush, no.
I can look closely at a person and gain a web on them.
That's true, you can. Well, then, yeah.
Which I could use for escape route. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how I can game my spiderness to make this more complicated.
So one thing you can do is if you talk me through a move, I can use it.
I could teach you to spin webs with your butt.
I just spin webs with my butt.
That is it.
If it's a move that you can share, I can.
Or more likely, I could probably talk you through Predator or something so you can catch a web on Crixix.
Hey man, you teach me what to do and I'll do it.
I will teach you to become toxic. Ha ha ha. No, that seems incredibly improbable.
All right. Would you like to do the teaching there? I think that's a cool idea and a neat move.
Yeah, I will try to teach you to approach this with a Predator's sort of vision.
Yeah.
And to focus closely and see the weaknesses and how you could trap them and how you could use their selves against them and that kind of stuff. Including a lot of, so where I would try to catch you, it would be really easy because you have so many openings. You're just not very good at this. So let's instead talk about Theth.
Oh, I give Sebastian a hug.
I think that's a neat idea because, again, one of those webs is a getaway rolling in hope, which is very much what might be called for useful here. That's a really neat idea. Okay, so we have Vero and Sebastian working together, and I can't even begin to imagine exactly what the conversation is of how to teach someone to weave webs. But do you think, Vero, that you're actually teaching Sebastian how to produce them, or do you think you're giving some web there to Sebastian that he can then use?
I'm probably giving Sebastian a length of web and teaching him to use the webs in a more metaphorical sense, where there'd be an upper hand versus, and then you spin this much web and you use it against your enemies, sort of thing.
Excellent. I think that's cool as hell. All right, so the two of you are busy doing that. Sneeze, what are you doing while they're over there talking about that, and y'all are getting prepared for this mission?
Sneeze probably spent half his conversation being like, why don't we just let Crixus take it? Then we can, fight him and he'll be better, and we can eat him when he's better, and there'll be more glory. But yeah, other than that, if anyone needs manual labor, otherwise he's just pretty much just putting into dirt.
Gotcha. All right. Aya, Freya, what are you doing as you see the two of them planning? We see Sneeze. He's kind of giving that comment of well, once he's tougher, he'll be much better to eat. What are you two doing?
We're doing that like glowy meditation thing that all of the people of our order do, where our tattoos light up and we sort of levitate off the ground and close our eyes and like zone out everything around us and connect our what's the word I'm looking for? Minds. That's the one. And connect our minds with the great magical essence that imbues everything in life. And saying a little like an ode back to our mentor, and a promise to avenge him.
Excellent. Why don't we have you roll a speak softly as you open yourself up to the mystic feel and perhaps the residual energy of your master. Let's see if the if it answers you some.
Cool. Yeah, I'm opening my mind to the psychic maelstrom. Let's
exactly.
Wisdom. Excellent. That is a 10.
Fantastic. So you can ask 3 off of the list, and remember they are really broad, really open. And you can take them as being the army in front of you, the mystic forces that are going on with what's coming up. You can interpret it however you'd like.
I'm going to go with the first one. What does the dead soul of my mentor want? And how could we help them get it?
Oh, that's excellent. As you're meditating, you often, hear kind of like his words as memory. So it flows naturally as you begin to kind of hear him in your minds talking to you, telling you a lesson. But then it becomes much more present. You have done so well and become so much that I am proud of. You have found the one prophesied, and this will be a first step towards their enlightenment. This creature, he will try to grasp this power. You must prevent it if you can, but at the very least, share in that power. The prophesied one can prevent this power from fully falling into the enemy's hands. Protect them.
Mentor, the horde is so great. Please give me wisdom about how we should get through them in the air unscathed?
They are all connected through the will of their mistress, through the power of their general, each and every one knowing the thoughts of the other. However, that is not just strength, it is also a weakness. They can be confused, for one is all. If you can find one and use that link, all will be brought to them. All will feel and see what it sees.
That's pretty good. I don't think I have a third question. Good intel. Thanks,
Excellent.
mentor. Thank you, mentor. You remain always with us, as all of the past remains. And then like the whole of the cosmos like shrinks into a little blue glowing ball, and like it shoots back inside the body of Aya and Freya.
Awesome. Oh, so cool. Theth, as everyone is getting prepared, what are you doing?
That is a good question.
Thank you.
What do I do? Every now and then, you've just got to have faith in your vassals that they will do what is required of them, and just wait for your time to shine.
So do you just curl up and take a nap, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, curl up in the fire.
As the fire roars around you, and you become one with the flame, you sense something you've never sensed before from that lake, from that area. You hear a rumbling, a rhythmic breathing, vast and deep. And you know, beneath that lake, there is another of your kind.
What? Oh my goodness. I might need to go into that lake. Duh. Hey everyone. How do we feel about not pulling Crixix out of that lake?
Sounds like a good plan.
I like your thinking. Done.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose?
Does that mean
From becoming the ultimate warrior?
A warrior.
Well, I mean, who do we think is going to attune faster? Lug or Crixix?
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I think
You're welcome.
Crixix.
Oh, such faith.
Can I get the over here?
Oh.
Aya and Freya are like, I believe it will be, and then when they reach the end of the sentence, they say the opposite one. One of them says Sebastian.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, it sounds like then with our plans in order, and as evening falls. Yes?
I'm just so blown away. I was becoming a predator. I thought everyone had my back. I was going to get some magic, and then just nobody's on my side.
One of Aya and Freya is.
That's not true. Yeah,
like-
one of the pair.
One of
Good.
us.
And you couldn't hear who it was.
Yeah, that's like 0.75 at best.
Well, with that vote of confidence, you
Sorry, there was one thing I did actually want to do. I just wanted
Yes.
to destroy part of the surrounding nature to craft some orc-made weapons.
excellent. All right. Let's see. Is that even require a roll from you?
Not that it says no. It just says I
No.
have to destroy something for it.
All right. So you begin moving forth, and what is it? What in this area do you destroy? Is it what do you begin collecting to make your weaponry?
I imagine ripping smaller plants straight out of the ground and just like grabbing rocks and hammering them in until they're stuck inside the actual plant, and just grabbing anything remotely sharp, heavy, just some absolute monstrosity that doesn't look like it should be used as a weapon at all.
Excellent. All right then, and so you have time. You can craft these weapons and get probably up to your full complement of 4 that you have now strapped onto you, looking quite fearsome. And as the sun begins to dip down across the mountains, it sounds like it's time for us to put our plan into effect. So, Theth, we know that Sebastian is going to be flown over there by you. Who else is going to go over on that route, and then we'll decide what everyone else is going to do. Is the entire party? Are you going to carry them? The physics of that would be interesting, but I think you're capable of doing it. It just might be a whole bunch of people hanging onto a relatively small dragon.
I've got 3 limbs spare. I'm fine.
Well, and I mean,
We might have to hold on to each other.
if we really wanted to build like a carrying harness with a little ladder, like a helicopter or something, I mean, we could make it work.
All right. So are we thinking the entire party is going to be in a little gondola underneath Theth as she flies across? Or is anyone thinking they're going on foot?
Hell no, you're flying over a lake. Vero has, some sense of self-preservation. I'll be on the ground.
All right. Is anyone going with Vero then?
I think Ire and Freyr are going to split up.
Oh boy.
I know. It's great. I get terrible penalties to all my rolls. It's a great idea. Freya's going to go with Theth, and Ire is going to go with Vero on the basis that, and Aya tells Vero that, Vero, you understand that what one of them sees, they all see. If your toxins and my magic can distract one, it may cause a widespread distraction. It will mean we will need to work together as Freya and must go to the lake.
I can do that. I like this plan.
Oh,
And Vero will even offer to let you ride on her if you want.
Oh,
Definitely.
I imagine
Yeah.
Vero's furry spider butt is actually fairly comfortable.
Well, and Vero has a nice outfit of spider silks, including like maybe a saddle blanket type thing of very fine silks and stuff. So it's actually a fairly comfortable ride, not spider sticky like you might expect.
True, the other rule hound is also going to ride on Vero. Hope that's okay.
Sticking its head off to the side in the wind.
Yes, that's perfect. I love that.
Oh, and just because you weren't here last time, Sid, you did, I assume, go ahead and get all your gear picked.
Yep, I did. I got a crossbow, which I will not be carrying into the water. I got a sword, which I probably will not be carrying into the water. And I have I also carry a spare weapon, which is pretty dope. That's if one of you lose or break your weapon, not you Sneeze, I'm carrying a spare one for you.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm your best friend.
Excellent. And Sneeze, which group are you going with?
This is a hard choice because on the one hand, on foot, I'm more likely to get to punch something. On the other hand, with the dragon, I'm more likely to get to punch the big thing. or push the little human out of the way and take it myself.
Yes, choices.
I think I'm gonna go in the sky. Yeah.
All right.
Grab on, friend.
Oh, by the way, Ira and Freya did not teach Sebastian how to do the ritual. They just gave him the stuff and was like, "You will know."
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, I'm going in there, and all I've been told is go down to the bottom, sink to the bottom. I'm so ready for this.
All right then.
And Vero totally could have filled you in, but didn't. Because really, would you expect anything more from Vero at this point?
Yeah. I'm quite literally at the moment being hung out to dry in the air.
I love
hung
this,
out to wet somehow.
I super love this fellowship.
Wow. All right. And so the ground force, Vero and did we say Freya or Aya? Ira.
It's Aya.
Aya. Y'all set off, heading down probably a little before the rest of the group and as the sun is setting, because it'll take you a little longer, much quicker flying across. And so you begin moving up until you reach kind of the edge of where they're patrolling. And about that time is when Theft takes off. We've got the kind of gondola harness set. So we have, the other three on it. Sebastian, you've been given a long set of rope, which can be tied there to, theoretically yank you up when all of this is done. And so you set off as it's now completely dark, heading across Theth. Up in the sky, the moon is massive and full. It's got a kind of reddish cast to it, and it is shining off of that black lake. And it's a really big lake. And so there's almost a blood redness to it as you look down on it, as the light has suffused all the way across the lake rather than just the singular image of the moon on it. And as you begin flying, you can just begin to see that little bit of the eclipse beginning. Down below, the army has begun making a noise. You might think it's some sort of singing. It's a buzz click that is rising higher and higher, a cacophony a little like cicadas out in the forest. But there's a rhythm and a rhyme to it that it almost bores into your head. It's so sharp. It's so loud. Vera and Aya, as you have reached the edge of this, and you can hear this sound, you can see patrol that has kind of left the main body to come up to here, but they've now stopped. It's a group of about 20. But they've stopped and they're standing stark, staring up at that red moon. They're making that shittery, buzzing noise. What do you do?
Aya says to Vero, "We must catch but one of them and take them back up into the mountains. We only need one, as far away from here as we can."
Only one?
Only one.
Fine. Do you want to do it or shall I?
This is your area of expertise.
Okay. I'm going to, with my amazing predator focus, try to pick out one from the group and look closely at only them. Not this entire mob, but just one of the endless.
All right. Roll with sense.
That's a 6.
Oh, that's lovely. So describe to me, you're looking closely with the intent of being able to get your web off on them, to trap them, correct?
Yeah, how I would trap only this one and not the others, which is not Vero's usual MO.
All right. You've looked them over. Now, with this move, it's you use the look closely to just do it. You don't get the look closely move as well, right? It's
Well, when I look closely, I also gain 1 web, so I think they both fire.
okay. All right. Well, then in that case, let's see. Let me just make sure. You still get to ask one.
Okay. Where did I put that thing? I think it's over here. Oh man, all of these questions both apply and don't apply in interesting ways.
I love this. I love the question moves in this because again, they are so big and so open, and I think that's neat.
I'm gonna go with what is going on here? What do my senses tell me?
As you're sneaking up closer, looking at this one in particular, that song, it's like waves of it coming at you, and they're not all making the same sound. It's that in like a chorus or like a Gregorian chant sort of thing, they're all rising and falling at different points, making different noises, and you can sense that they are all putting their strength into their leader. That this is all focusing in to open themselves up to him. And the waves of sound are in a way empowering, but also protecting. And you realize that second part as you get close, try and prepare your web, because that one turns its head and looks directly at you. Click, click, click. And it lets out this high-pitched screeching noise that begins to carry in waves of those near it. It draws out its blades and begins moving towards you.
I think it's noticed us.
I suggest we run, says Aya, jumping onto your back and grabbing on with his one hand. And Shu jumps onto Aya's back.
Sounds like a getaway, as this thing is definitely coming after you.
I am gonna roll to get away. And regardless of what I pick, I get to take one person with me. So hooray!
That's good. However, because of the sounds of this buzzing and this high-pitched scream and your unfortunate 6 previously, you will be rolling in despair as
Is that canceled? Oh, sorry, yeah. I'm not sure if Aya's helping, if it evens out.
Yeah, I'm curious, if you can come up with a way that you think you're helping in this, then that can cancel back to a normal roll. Can you think of something that you're doing?
Yeah. I think like Aya is I guess like a push start, like running on the side, clearing stuff out of the way, and like trying to jump on with the most momentum possible.
Sounds good. And so then that'll let you roll a straight roll, and perhaps it's that innate insectness of you and them, but this buzzing and this noise inside of your head, you can kind of feel all of the tiny little feelers of that whole army, like they're touching your mind.
I don't speak Wasp. Knock it off.
Roll away.
That is a 12.
Darn you. All right. With your getaway at a 12, you get to choose 2. Get there quickly, avoiding any harm along the way. Get there quietly, drawing no attention, which may not really be your intent here. You maybe want to get attention. And grab someone nearby and bring them along with you.
Well, we are supposed to be the distraction, aren't we? Aya? Aya? So,
It's
yeah,
what to do.
I'm gonna burn one of mine on grab someone nearby, even though I get that for free, and get there quickly, avoiding harm.
Well, you
I'm
do
gonna
have
draw all the attention.
Yeah, you can also grab the dog with your other grab someone nearby.
True. Then, yeah, grab someone means I can take up to 3 people with me then, because I'm Torek. So I get the dog, and then I still have an arm free.
All right. You begin spidering through the woods, which I just imagine looks neat as hell. I'm a big fan of giant spiders. Shelob was one of the I love giant spiders. There are tons of my games. People get sick of all my giant spiders. I just think they're neat looking. But you're crawling through the woods as that noise, that buzzing is all around you as the army, feeling that you are there to try and stop them, have focused very much on you. And the forest behind you is just filled with the clicks and clacks of them. Meanwhile, flying above the lake, Death, out across to the center. Are you going to fly low over the lake? Are you staying up high, just going to try and avoid being seen?
Yeah, it's going to stay up high, get the maximum velocity going in.
All right, so your intent is to dive down with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's why everyone came along, right? Get to the bottom of this lake.
All right. Well, that's cool. See, Sebastian, you won't be alone.
I am doing this under protest, Tyler.
And so, as you reach the center of the lake and above you, the eclipse has now moved across, and it's, about halfway across this red moon. And despite the entirety of the area around getting darker, it seems the lake is actually getting brighter, and that reddish glow is rising in it. And as you reach the center, looking down, you could see an area, probably 50 yards wide, where there is a darkness in that red that mirrors the eclipse. Where the moon is not reflected, the eclipse seems to be reflected inside of the lake. You dive, heading towards the surface, and hitting the water. It is a shock to all of you that are there, as this water, you expect it to be cold, you expect it, to feel wet, but as you hit it, it is warm, and it is more like it is thick. It grasps at you rather than like water. This feels more like blood. In you go. Theth, I think I'd like for you to roll an overcome, for you to try and dive down to the bottom of this. I think in this case, blood is probably a good one for it, as that is kind of a powery stat.
Sweet ass.
Yes, Sid. Oh, yes. How did you do, Alex?
I got a... Hold on a second. 13.
Darn y'all. You down through this, and you're descending, and around you is this red glow, and you can see like the eddies, and it's not like there's any fish that you see. It's just this red, and you deeper and deeper until you've sank at pretty good velocity for several seconds. And below you, you can see that dark area, and it seems to be growing. And in its very center, also glowing with red, you see Crixus. He's standing there with his enormous chitin sword, and he seems aware that you're coming. He looks up, and Sneeze, what do you do?
I'm diving straight for Crixus.
Of course you are. I don't blame. I'm not surprised that our brave orc going straight at him. All right. I think probably this is going to be like a keep them busy to start with. So why don't you, as you leap from the gondola, and do orcs are they naturally buoyant? Or do you sink? Or do bumbles bounce?
That's a good question. I feel like they'd probably be pretty buoyant.
I kind of think they are too.
Yeah. But I am carrying some big orc weaponry.
Okay. So we'll say you've got some ballast that's helping you get down there. But you're still probably having to swim your way to get to him. Let's roll that keep them busy.
Yeah, I've got my mouth open in that huge bellow, but I'm just sucking in water. What's that's overcome?
No, it's a keep them busy off of courage.
Keep them busy, sorry. Courage, 11.
Darn it. All right, you head down, and he sees you coming and raises up his sword as you whack into him, and begins a melee between the two of you. But as you come close, that armor that he's wearing, inside of it, these colors are swirling. And so as you're battling against him, it makes you, it's hard to even look at. Will you roll me an overcome with wisdom, please?
Oof. Nine.
Oh, that's very good. All right. You could pay a price if you wish to take it up to the 10 result. I'll tell you what's happening.
Yeah, I'll wildly swing one of my orc weapons and smash it on him for that 10 result.
All right. As you were staring there, and again, it's so distracting. It's almost like there were multiple of him, as though there were like after images that this armor was making. But you whack at the one in the center, which is, you always whack the one in the center, and it's as though and he sort of stumbles back. Click, 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 click. And so underwater, you're swinging at each other, and despite it being underwater, your blades are still flashing around at pretty good speed, and as they hit, there's little discharges of red light and energy. Sebastian, what are you doing?
I'm trying to be a hero, dog.
All right.
I'm sinking slowly to the bottom of this thing, and I think I'm probably trying to push myself up because I'm not sinking through the weird thick blood water fast enough. And when I feel my feet contact the bottom of the lake, I stand there for a while, and it's probably only a couple of seconds, but that's a long time when you're underwater. And the last little bit of air escapes my lips, and I gotta take in a big deep breath.
All right.
Gotta take in 3 big deep breaths.
As you pull this in, there is it's not a voice more as much as a feeling that's inside of you. Like, you know you can do this. It's as though there are thousands and thousands of people over vast amounts of time who believe in you. How about rolling me? I'm going to give you the option of what to roll here. We're going to do an overcome. Are you going to use sense? Are you going to use wisdom? Wisdom would be opening yourself up to this presence that's there surrounding you. Sense will be trying to remember what little you were told of this ritual and to try and keep your mind focused.
Nah, it's Jeff's wisdom. I was not taught nearly enough.
Right.
2d6, and I'm gonna do...
Before you roll, since
Okay.
we do have Freya there, Freya, do you think there's something you can do to help, or are you doing something else?
Freya is definitely helping. As Sebastian's feet like touch the bottom of the lake, and there's that sort of like boof, like, you know, bits of like dirt like slowly flying through the blood like juices. The constellation, which is just sort of like almost before was like a static image, lights up and begins to slowly turn as Crixus and Sebastian like start the ritual. And like what Freya is doing is she's trying to direct the constellation to turn around Sebastian instead of around Crixus.
Excellent. It sounds like then you get to roll in hope, Sebastian.
This is the best game ever. So that's 3d6, not
Yes,
23. 3, and I roll them, and I take the highest 2, and my answer is... that's an 11, Tyler.
Of course it is.
So much hope.
So much hope. As this begins to enter you, you feel this energy begin to rise up inside of you. And Crixus has looked over and he's trying to battle away against Sneeze. And you, despite the fact that he has this very alien face, you can definitely read anger and fury in him, Sneeze, as his eyes glowing there. He can see that this ain't going his way at the moment. But because he's the Overlord's general, I do get to pull out a trick or two for him. And so I shall. In fact, I'm going to use a trick up your sleeve, which is a gear move of the Overlord. As he sees this happening and sees this energy moving into Sebastian, his armor sort of lights up, and he, for a moment, you sort of are kind of turn your head away as he extends his arm, and from his arm shoot this chitin blade attached to what looks kind of like a tendon or sinew attached to him, and buries itself into you, Sebastian. You take an injury. If you have armor, you can use armor. If not, you will need to mark a stat as this blade sinks into you.
Yep, this is gonna have to affect my sense. I mark some sense.
And as this blade hits and this energy rises up in Sebastian, and you begin to glow and brighten, that energy flows back down the blade and across the tendon, and you see it light up Crixus as well, just not nearly as bright. He looks over at you, Sneeze. Again, you kind of turned away, and he is going to attempt to slash at you as this energy is flowing into him. I'm going to allow you an overcome You may use blood or you may use grace, either one, to try and avoid this.
Yeah, Sneeze does nothing with grace. That is a 7.
All right. Once again, you have the option here to pay a price, and you could get up to that 10 result. I will tell you kind of so you'll know if you want to pay the price. If you don't, he's going to not manage to, it won't be an injury, but he will have busted free of your keep him busy.
Yeah, no chance. I'm just smashing another weapon to keep him where he is.
As you rise up your weapon and guard, his blade just slices straight through it, but because of it, it manages not to take your head off as well. And bubbles of that red come out, and the glow is around him. Freya, what are you going to do? Actually, I'm sorry, Freya. I think that I have been overlooking someone. Theth, what are you doing?
That is a very good question. And, being the wise dragon I am, I'm going to look for another dragon to help us. Because there's a dragon here. Where is this dragon?
Excellent. As above, though you can't quite see, the eclipse has hit its full darkness. Around you in this red, the constellations seem to float. I mean, it's like you're inside of space in this red area. And that black pit, the blackness of this area down at the bottom is completely open. And from down there, you can hear that of a dragon sleeping. You can try to call to it. You could try to go to it. What would you like to do?
I want to go to it.
All right. Let's roll a keep away for you then. I'm sorry. A getaway. A getaway for you. To try and get to it.
Alrighty.
And that will be with grace.
I'm really bad at grace. Though, I have a move for this.
Ooh.
Which is the Blessing of Speed, in which I can instantly appear somewhere close by that I can see.
Oh, okay. I like that then. So if you want to do that, you reach that, you're at that bottom. That doesn't even require a roll, does it?
No, it does not.
And so where the bottom would be, you simply pass through it. And you're suddenly in a cavern. Looking up, you could see that red liquid, the lake, swirling around, but it is dry here. It is pleasantly hot. The walls glow with a red, and there in front of you is a massive dragon, easily 200 foot from tail to nose. It is sleeping, and from its nose is curling smoke. It is... there it is, my book. Yes. It is silver and shining brightly and gleaming. But it is asleep. What do you do?
I'll call to it. I'll say, hello? Hello?
Why don't we have you... I'm going to do a series, I think, probably of moves. We'll start with, why don't we have you do an overcome with your blood, see if you can wake this slumbering dragon.
Sweet. That is a 7.
Ooh, alrighty. You can choose to pay a price if you'd like, and take it up to a 10. As it is, you will it will sort of rise from its slumber, but it's still going to be fuzzy, and probably because your next thing will be to talk to it, it probably will not be very responsive. Or you pay that price and it will fully wake and be present with you.
Oh, I've got to pay the price here.
Ooh, I love that.
So I think as it's like struggling to wake up, Beth like waddles a little closer, like sees like the sleep in its eyes. Says, you need to wake up. We're in trouble. Please, right now. And on the now, there's this like fireball that erupts from Beth and like passes like throughout the cavern in like an instant.
Fantastic. And so you're marking off
My blazing soul.
Excellent. Oh, fantastic. It, as the glow of you reflects across its silver scales and its eyes pop open and see this. Little one, you have found me.
Who are you?
I am Galathron, he who slumbers.
But why? Why are you here? What are you doing?
I have heard all. I see all. In my dreams, nothing is hidden.
So you watch over the world? But why?
For these short-lived races, the truth of the past is often lost. But we cannot have all things forgotten. And I remember everything.
But there are people out there, they need our help. They're going to be wiped out. There's not going to be anything to see anymore. Without our magnificent rule, they'll be lost, scattered, destroyed.
Why don't we have you roll a talk sense? He is willing to hear you. Would you like to do that with your grace? Which is, in that idea, you would be, let's see, talking sense. If you are talking with grace, you impressing, dazzling, or tricking. If you are talking with wisdom, you're appealing to their emotions. Or if you talk with sense, you detail your plan and their place in it. How do you think you're talking?
I think I am talking like a dragon, as is my birthright, and I will use the move, Blessing of Glory, to force someone to listen to me when I talk sense to them.
Excellent. I still think you have to choose a stat to roll with, though, but yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Gotcha. That lets me make the roll.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense now.
Mm-hmm. Because they don't all, not everybody has to listen to you talk sense. This means everybody has to listen to you talk sense.
I feel like this is like a gut feeling kind of thing. So
emotions.
I feel like wisdom kind of fits.
All right, let's have you roll that.
That is a 10.
Golly bum. All right. You say this, you know, you're telling him that it'll all be gone if we don't help. He looks up, and that fire comes into his eyes, smoke comes from his mouth, and his silver scales begin to glow with a heat. And even you are kind of like taken as this roil of heat comes off of him. We cannot allow that. I'm going to cut up to Vero, and Aya. These things are following you, and they are moving at pretty good speed. You have certainly distracted them, and that kind of cacophony where they had been, trying to help their leader has now become much more about the pursuit. They are not focused like they were. But we do have them beginning to move around you. And in fact, 2 of them have popped out right in front of you, Vero, and you see that they have their weapons drawn and look like they're probably, they're trying to block your way. What are you doing?
I think I sees this as a possible opportunity to put their plan into place really quickly, and crawls up Vera's back, and jumps off the front, with Chew on top of him, and grabs essentially crash tackles the insect, and is going to try and attempt to blast it with magical energy to try and overwhelm it, I guess.
Okay, I think that's an overcome then. I don't know if that's a finish them. I think it sounds more like, I think this is more of an overcome because you're trying to just push that energy into them. And that's probably your blood. I think that's, calling to your racial being there.
Excellent. Let's see how the pair go when they're not together. You're going to get some leverage here, I think. Oh, no. I can't tell which ones I just rolled. How do you know?
Need to roll again. Or we can clear some stuff out. We have gotten a good bit. If you'll give me 2 seconds, I'm just going to clear off some stuff and there. And maybe pull a couple off to the side. I'm sorry. Here we go. And then you can just re-roll.
Six.
Okay. And like I say, hang on. If we'll just give me 2 seconds, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to clear some of these off. And an easy thing to do, I'm going to pull down some there. And you can always just highlight 2 of them or add one, highlighted 3 of them and just hit reroll selected. And that way we don't put quite so many up there.
Oh, cool.
All right. So with a 6, oh dear. As you leap on it and you're pressing your magic into it, it looks you dead in the face, opens up its mandibled mouth, and you feel it beginning to drain that magic from you. It's actually eating your magical power. You feel it pulling it out from you. I need for you to pay a price.
I think thematically I'm going to damage a stat.
Okay.
And I'm going to damage Aya's blood because I think when that happens, it's the most terrifying thing Aya has ever experienced. And suddenly he's gone from being on the front foot to being on the back foot. He's just trying to every rational urge has sort of slipped out of his brain, and all he can think about is breaking away from this and getting away.
Awesome. Vero, you see this. You see Aya has jumped across there, and I mean, there's no doubt this thing is drawing that energy. The other one you would swear is coming up and preparing to, slice Aya in half.
And I want to try to overcome that harm to Aya, I think, because
All right.
I'm going to try to lash out at it with my spidery self.
All right, then. Feel like you're doing that with blood, or is it grace, maybe, or what do you think?
Well, everything I do is graceful, but this might be an instance of blood because I'm using my super spideriness.
All right. Roll away.
No, I'm not as good at blood as I am at anything else. Oh man, I'm actually terrible at blood. Goodness. Okay.
That'll make it exciting.
That's a 5. Is there any way I can make that better? I don't think so.
No. But you do leap across to aid your comrade. And as you do, you put yourself in between that sword strike that almost certainly would have cut Aya in half, but it instead will strike you.
But I'm so much bigger. So
yes. So it'll be a damage. If you have armor, you can take armor, but it is striking into you, so you will need to damage a stat. And these two creatures have kind of got the initiative on you two as you feel this thing slice into you. And as it does, it secretes this sort of acid. And so I'm going to tell you that this damage is necrotic, meaning only magical means will heal it, or a full recovery.
Except
yeah,
I have confidence in fast healing, which gives me a free healing. Does that work?
It will, yes.
Because I can like heal as it's damaging?
I think you would need to take a moment, but yes, you would be able to overcome that necroticness of it with it.
Because I'm a spider.
All right, so we have the two of you in a pretty life or death struggle. It's down below in the lake. Sebastian, the energy flowing into you. Freya, I was asking you, what do you do as you see this blade and it's, through the tendon, the energy is flowing towards Crixus. You see Sebastian with the energy suffusing him. What do you do?
I think Freya's feet are like on Saturn, in the constellation, and so she's got her sword, and she's channeling like the power of Saturn, like this yellow glow, which sort of contrasts to the red glow, like comes up and into the sword, and she's just going to try and like break his tendril thing shatter it.
All right, Sebastian, you feel this tug of the energy being pulled from you. How about describing for me how you're fighting against that, and we'll let that be a roll for hope for Freya there.
Man, fighting is not what I normally do, and so like when this thing hits me, I kind of don't know what to do about it. But there's just that like dull roar of the thousands of people cheering for me across time, and there's like I can break out. You know when you hear like your own name in a crowd, and I can break out my name, and I'm like, oh, yeah, and I grab hold of the web that I've been given, and I like tie it around the thing that's in me, and I use that as like leverage to try and pull it out.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, fantastic. All right, then. So go ahead, Freya, and roll with hope. And I believe with the move you've been given, we're going to be able to let you also do, it'll give you a getaway attempt too. So if you want to go ahead, we'll let Freya roll first, and then we'll have you roll that getaway, Sebastian, right after. And, oh, I'm sorry. And you'll be rolling, I think, a finish them, Freya, because you're trying to hack through this thing. What do you think you're using to do that?
In terms of the in the fiction or
In the
with
fiction-
stat, right?
Yes, stat, but yeah, you'll see
Blood.
there. Blood, all right.
This is I've got a glowing sword and I am using it to shatter your glowing sword.
Excellent, cool.
That is a 9.
Very good. All right. As you slice through this, and the glow, the striking of these energies together, it ends the tendon, ping, snaps back, and it will have you have damaged a stat on him, and in this case, the stat you have damaged is overwhelming power. As it snaps back, the wound or the blade still inside of you, though. Sebastian, I think you're going to be rolling the getaway, though, with using that web, right? And is that does that require a roll, Vero?
Yeah, I do.
Rolling with hope, yes.
I roll with hope. So let us do that thing. Getaway is grace, right?
Yes, sir.
That's good because my grace is 0, so this is going to be fantastic. And I'm going to use these 2 purplies, and we're going to re-roll them.
And you get 3.
Oh, and I'm rolling hope. All right, well, that's good because I rolled a 3 and a 2, and then I rolled another 2. So my highest is 5.
Ooh, all right. And so as you... Yes, I'm sorry?
I just said, oh, boy.
And so as you use this web and you do manage to wrench this thing out from you, but blood squirts from the wound. I think you're going to damage yourself again doing it.
Okay, I've got a thing for this. So I have Luck of the Devil, which allows me to negate a thing of harm. I think it is.
Oh, excellent!
And I think that the fictional hit there. So what is it? Use this to completely escape harm unscathed.
Excellent. So how does that look?
As I pull it out, I've got this hole, this wound that I'm expecting to leak out, but there's just the pressure of the water around me is keeping the wound from spilling out. Oh. And it just while I'm here, it's okay.
Oh, fantastic! All right, and as you've pulled this weapon out, and Crixus has stepped back, and the two of you are still glowing as above the eclipse is beginning. It's ending. The first little rim of that red moon begins to shine down. The energy is rising between the two of you when at that moment, erupting from the lake bed, is this massive silver head. And the blood begins to boil as it comes up and surrounds Crixus. And as the jaws come closed, Crixus looks. Ah! And as it snaps, there's this glow, and Crixus disappears as the jaws slam shut. And we're going to take a break there. So let's take 5 minutes, and we'll be back to see what's happened, what the fallout of this is. See y'all in a sec. That was fun. Y'all, that was neat. That was a cool set of scenes there. I liked that. All right. Woo! Woo! Exciting battle.
All right.
Combat done right for once.
Want to be a wizard?
Yes.
I want to be a wizard.
Well, we're going to have a little chance for that here in just a second because we have a fellowship we're going to be getting now. But for those of you keeping track at home and for those of you playing, I used yet another of my Overlord gear to avoid getting eaten by a massive dragon. I used a clever plan, which allows the Overlord to escape from a trap or from horrible danger. And that's what he had to do, because otherwise he would have been dragon poo very shortly. And so we see this massive silver head rise up and the body continue after moving up. Those of you in the water are kind of caught up in the wake of it. Theth, you think you're riding on the back of your new friend?
Oh, of course. Hang on, Dilly for life.
Galathon, and you rise up and burst from the surface. The rest of you are kind of caught up in the wake of this and bubbled up to the top, popping up above. If you wish, you could kind of grab a hold of this massive body as it rises up. Above you, the moon is beginning to show red again. Pharaoh and Aya, you were in pretty deep and dark straits. I think I'd like to find out real quick, because we're popping out of this battle, I think, but I would like one more chance to do a little damage to you because things had gone so terribly poorly. Pharaoh, what do you think you do? You've taken this wound. These things are definitely closing in and trying to attack you. Of course, you didn't. You'll get rid of the wound, but still. So what do you do?
Man, there's no way for me to keep busy more than one at a time, is there?
Not at the moment.
So I think our only option probably is for me to get away some more.
All right. You're good at that.
Mm-hmm.
And Aya, what are you doing?
Also get away. Thematically, I want to kind of like phase through the ground.
Ooh. All right. Then I suppose we'll have you both roll a getaway. We'll start with you, Vero.
Haha, that's an 11. I am getting right out of here.
You dip off away from this, jumping, I suppose, able to climb through the trees, jumping away from them. How about you, Aya?
7.
All right. In that chance, you get to choose one. Get there quickly avoiding harm, or get there quietly drawing no attention, or taking someone with you. Keep in mind, you have your dog. Now, I suppose it's possible that that Pharaoh could take your doggy friend.
Hello, spider friend. If Pharaoh...
I mean, I get one person for free, so yeah, I can definitely take your dog if you want.
Okay. All right, then.
I would not eat your ethereal hound as my first choice.
It's very difficult to eat because when you when you put your hand through it, just goes straight through the hound.
Not very filling.
Not very filling. In that case, I will get there quietly, just sort of very slowly. Maybe his dark complexion like transforms a little bit to blend into the tree, and he just sort of slowly sinks into the ground.
All right, so as you're fading back and they're swinging wildly, I'm going to have you pay a price since you didn't get away without avoiding any harm. So I'd like a pay a price there.
Oh, yes. So price could be a stat, an item,
Yep,
or a companion. Is that right?
That is correct. Mm-hmm. So you
I
could
think
say
I'm going to have to leave my musket because it cannot phase through the ground. It's metal, so it just doesn't come with IR. It just sits there on top of the surface.
All right, so you'll mark that, and I can almost imagine as you're fading out and they're swinging wildly, it drops and boom, fires and right into their faces as they stagger back and you disappear. From the lake, this enormous creature rises, looks over at the army, which has now started just acting crazed. With Crixus gone, they've lost a lot of that driving force, and so they're acting, confused and wandering around, but only for a moment, as an enormous gout of flame sweeps across the entirety of that end of the lake. I mean, full Game of Thrones thing here, guys. It's... And this just... massive inflamement of the area as the army is consumed by the flame. The sound of them popping and cracking, the trees exploding into fire as Galathon just wipes them away. And you come out. You are still glowing, Sebastian, though the glow is starting to fade slightly as the moon is becoming full again.
Yes, I am.
The dragon lands on the banks of the river, and you all scramble off or away from it as it looks around. Beth, what do you say to your group now that you have this enormous friend of yours?
I told you you'd be safe following the dragons.
Sneeze, you've been brought up by this thing. What do you say looking at it?
So we don't hit it?
No.
It sort of looks at you and... I'm going to slide us out of the minute to minute as we, the battle has certainly been won. And there is this energy that has flowed into you, Sebastian. And, being part of the fellowship, all of you can kind of feel from Sebastian and in yourself that this tremendous energy has come to you. But Freya, you're well aware that it was not all. Not all of it made it to Sebastian. Crixus did manage to pull some. For our game effects, neither of you got the source of power. So the Overlord did not gain a stat. However, you did not take one from the Overlord, as this power was split between you. But you as a group did earn a fellowship out of this lake. And that's something new, so I'm going to tell you about it because I think it's a cool part of the game. You guys are going to get a choice. I'm going to give you 3 things to choose from, and as a group, you will decide which one you're choosing.
New puppy.
Yes.
We get a new puppy. I picked that one.
We have a touch of magic. The Harbingers have shown you secrets of their power. The lake has shown you secrets of their power. You can look on the Harbinger list in their playbook, and you can choose one of the magic abilities of the Harbinger, which you'll see they have magical spells. You can each choose a different one. You each get to choose one, but you only have the one. That's one of your choices. The other is Blessing of Fire. The fire elementals and this dragon are giving you their blessing. You all gain supernatural resistance to heat or flame. Not so useful for Theth, but really useful for the rest of you. You add fire resistance, which is armor versus fire, one use to your gear. So whenever damage comes at you from a fire source, you can mark that and not take the damage. In addition, one of you, in this case, it would be Sebastian, is given a powerful weapon of fire. Ranged reload is the stats on it. So you shoot it. Reload means it takes a few moments to be able to, you can't just with it. It takes a moment or two to reload. That ignites whatever it strikes. This weapon is one of a kind. It's not added to your gear, which means that should it be taken, it won't come back to you. But you got it, and you shoot fire with it, which is pretty awesome. The other final choice is many have died for this information, which is, he does do some clever moves, move names. I think they're so much fun, but a little Star Wars reference there. You are told the location of a source of power that the Overlord is currently planning to find. So you'll find out somewhere the Overlord is moving next. And you're also told the location of a source of power that the Overlord already has, meaning you could try and go and take it and damage the Overlord. One of these is quite close by, your choice of which, and you will find out, you will be told all about it. So those are your three options, and I'm going to have you guys can decide amongst yourselves what you'd like from that. And I'm going to tell you real quick, you're also going to get the fellowship of this silver dragon. And we don't have an option. He's just going to give you this. And I'll tell you what it is while y'all are thinking a moment of your three choices. The silver dragon is the dragon of wisdom and lore. They keep this world's history safe. When you earn the silver's fellowship, it will tell you of the past. Each player may command lore to change one fundamental fact about their people that used to be true in the past, and with this knowledge may be true again. So you will have the ability to command lore on your people and suddenly make something true of the past. And this will be something you can hang on to, and when you're ready to use, you can bring it out, or if you wish to define it early, you can. But it's a chance to twist, change what your people are like from our established truth there. So discuss amongst yourselves of those three choices, which one you like.
I mean, as long as it's not the fire resistance one, I am happy with the choices.
I mean, I'm torn because being a spider with the ability to see or touch far off things seems incredibly overpowered and awesome. But also the knowing where to strike next seems really useful.
Other thoughts?
I'm on team Places of Power, because Places of Power are dope.
Haley,
Yeah.
thoughts?
I'm down with that.
Brendan?
I mean, I've already been kind of illicitly using magic the whole time anyway, so you know.
Yeah, I'm happy with that option.
All right, so we're thinking we're going to take many have died for this information. All right, that's our agreement. Then this dragon will, as you're sitting there and you're talking with him, and he's nice enough for a dragon. He definitely thinks he's a superior being, and there's some justification for that. But this Overlord wishes to destroy all that has been. If she has her way, there will be nothing but Borgia across all of the world. Already, she's extended her grip across many continents. And on this island, she has found a great and powerful artifact. Should she lay her hands upon it, it will be doom, doom, doom. She seeks the first teardrop, an item hidden in the... Look real quick. There you are. Ugh.
You know, I put it here somewhere. It's in.
Yes.
Ooh, been sleeping for a long time, you see.
So many pockets on these scales.
He says, in the ruins of Rhaegor, which if you'll see is in the northwest corner of the island, that little that little isthmus up there. Says, for there were the first people. And they were like animals until one knew sorrow. And when that first tear fell, they knew, and they became intelligent. They became more than animals. Deep, deep within its haunted halls, the tear remains. And should she find it, she will bring sorrow and despair to all the people of this island. You must stop her. He then goes on to tell you, already she has gained power at Lord's Watch. The flame that burns eternal in its center has given her strength. It has made her children boundless and bountiful. All that I have destroyed here are once again stepping from that flame as though they had never died. And I did kind of take away your ability to, it's close, which one's close, but you know, it's a small island. Everything's close. It's relative. And as he gives you this information, it sinks into you that these two great sources of power, one that she wishes to grab, one she already has, you must take away from her. He looks over to you, Theth. Little one, you are very brave.
Thank you. My name is Sorry. My name is Minetheth, child of lava.
Minetheth, child of lava. I shall think of you as the brightest of burning things on this land. You have woken me when I could have slumbered through the death of this world. I am in your debt, Minetheth. I must go. I must record how others are fighting this scourge. But I will return to you, Minafeth. And I give you a gift. And he pulls back, and this bright, rather focused fire shoots out from his mouth and wraps around you. And he will refresh where you had spent your aura of flame. You each are the hope of this land. Your people need you. I have seen your kind throughout the millennia. There is much hidden that you will bring to the light once more. May this spark of memory travel with you. As he says that, a scale sheds from him, floats to each of you, representing that memory that we got from our fellowship with the silver, that you can draw on, bring up truth about your people from the past that may be true again. Anybody got anything they want to say to our dragon before he takes to the wing? If not, he spreads his enormous wings, lifts up. Seems impossible something so massive could rise. And as he lifts up, you see him silhouetted against the moon. And then with one stroke of those wings, like a silver streak, he disappears into the night towards the north. And I think that's where we're going to stop. It's a little early, but we still have our end of session, and maybe that'll give us a moment to kind of throw out some flags we might want to see for our last session coming up. So, how was that, gang? Was that a not bad one?
What a thing.
Whew. I hope that was fun. So, let's go over our end of session questions real quick. Did we save or protect a community in need? We did. This area, what you guys did here, definitely protected this valley. Did we strike a blow against the Overlord and their minions? I think hell yeah. And did we learn more about the world and its people? I kind of think we did that too. So that's three yeses. So we get to choose, and you get to choose as a group, so decide. Each fellowship player refreshes one piece of gear to its full value. Each fellowship player chooses one stat to heal. It doesn't have to be theirs. Or the fellowship and the Overlord will choose people to go up a level. The first time we choose this, I know I have two of you still left who have not gone up. So my choice will have to be one of you. So we know for sure Sebastian and Sneeze will go up if you choose that one. So, y'all, what do y'all think? What would y'all like to choose?
Well, I think we kind of gotta let Sebastian and Sneeze level since everyone else has gotten to.
Sneeze earned it.
I mean, and Sebastian's there too, I guess.
Oh, I think our squire was quite the hero tonight.
Yeah, he was awesome. Good stuff. But also
Standing behind a meat shield and still got hit, so.
Yeah. I like that our party has like a weird growth that we kind of ignore is in most scenes. and that's Sebastian.
All right, then. So taking that, one of you will choose one of you. I will choose the other. So both of you have now moved up a level. We can, again, choose that, and you guys will choose one. I'll choose one. This time I would probably choose me because we're back to that even footing. But, it is the sort of thing that if you want to, 3 of you would get a chance to go up if you chose all advances. Next time is our last one. So if people have, if you'd like to get a move, if somebody would like to say, hey, there's something I'd really like to give a shot at, feel free to lobby for that. I will probably choose me if that option is available because, I like that. And I want to also say that, we're doing this little 4-set. I do, if we like it, I would like to offer this up some months down the road. Maybe we continue our little story if folks are interested in playing some more of it. I would certainly love to see it pop up again in the future. So, keeping in mind that, getting those advances along the way are nice. So, what do we think? Ryan, anything you'd like to lobby for there? How are we looking for people being hurt? Show of hands if anybody's hurt at the moment. All right.
A little bit.
Okay. So 3 are hurt. We have used some gear. So I know that some of that y'all might like. We can also think after this that we could do a recovery, which would get you back all your health and all your equipment. It'll let me advance some plans and recover all my shit too. But we can figure on doing a little recovery in our next session if that was something and you'd like to do the all advances. So Ryan, what's your lobby?
Well, for me, there's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Because if I heal one, then I don't need to spend my healing. But otherwise, I could spend my healing and then get it back because it's part of my gear. So whatever works. Or you all could vote to level me up again so I can be the most awesome spider in the world. Just putting that out there.
All right. Haley, anything you'd like to lobby for?
Yeah, all options are good options. I mean, I guess we can eat again in terms of healing. So maybe that is the least useful option since we have bountiful food for a single session next time.
Yeah, y'all do have a good bit of food. Brendan.
I'm fine both on gear and healing, but I know other people do need healing. So my vote would have been for healing, but if no one else is interested, we might as well just gear or level up.
Okay. Alex, anything you'd like to lobby for?
Yeah, I mean, we could do healing, or we could do gear, or I could get Galathon on speed dial with the dragon move. So I mean, just saying.
You meet your dad once, and now you're calling him for every problem. Come on.
And
he's awesome.
And Sid, any lobby you'd like to make in this?
Passenger, I'm down for anything and everything.
Okay. Well, to kind of put this out there, we could figure on using both the other 2 for advances, and that would mean that going into this next one, every one of us would get an advance because that would give Brendan and Sid an advancement. The 3 of you would all get an advancement, and so would I. And then we can fill our bellies, and that will probably handle you getting healed up. Or we could do that recovery, which in a lot of ways, and I don't, not to game the system over much, but in a lot of ways, a recovery is not going to hurt you a bunch because we've got 1 session left. I'm going to advance a plan to make sure we have something to do regardless. So really, it's, it may be just so we can get some stuff out that doing those advancements might be the most fun. But how do y'all feel about that? Does that seem to meet everybody's opinion, approval? Okay. Well, then let's go ahead and do that. And that way everybody will get to get something new for the last session to play with. And I'll get us something new to play with. And we'll go with that. So let's put down that we took advances and everybody got one. So I would like to kind of, if we've got a few minutes, do a little bit of kind of flagging for what we'd like to see next session. And I'll just go down the line and ask folks, and then I'll finish up. I'll start with you, Alex. I've been starting at the other end. What would you like to see next session?
Oh. I feel like a mix of like both interpersonal and some epic confrontation would be good for me.
Okay. I like that. Brendan, what would you like to kind of flag to see next time around?
The big picture involves a hard choice.
That was kind of going to be one of mine too. I like that. I think that's a good idea. Haley, something you'd like to maybe flag for next session?
Yeah, that's a really cool idea. I guess like more elements that exist in the world other than those we've experienced already is cool. But I assume that would come with the territory if we change location and like place.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. And yeah, I think that's a good idea too. Something fresh and new. Ryan, something you'd like to flag?
So totally selfish, but since one of those points of power is past both the Orc lands and the Spider lands, I'd kind of like, even if we just skim over it in a long journey or something, to pass through those, because both of us are pretty weird and I want to see how Orc society works, given that they're weird mushrooms who sit around in circles. Another glimpse of them would be cool.
I think that's a cool idea too. Nice. And Sid, something you'd like to flag or see in our next session?
Oh boy. I think you're also lovely. I would really like to see more of the pair, like when they don't agree, like that one shot that we had of them like thinking of different people and arguing when they came back to the camp and stuff. I'd love to see like that like inherent conflict of the pair. That's super cool.
I agree. Something I'd like to see, I agree with what Brendan's saying of kind of having, I'd like to have a conflict of, a conflict of morals, a conflict that shows maybe even the Fellowship not agreeing on exactly the best course. I want to put a hard choice in front of you. It depends on which way we go, but where Ryan's saying that, heading up there towards that, the first tier. First off, I think that's a pretty cool idea for a nasty artifact. I like the first tier. And that journey would be neat. And I do intend for us to have a long journey. It's one of my favorite mechanics in the game. It puts so much in y'all's hands and lets us just tell stories. I think that's so much fun. So I do definitely want to try and have us hit one of those, regardless of where we go. But I would like to have a kind of conflict of conscience, a chance for you all to have that tough choice of what's the right thing to do. And, as a last session, I want to give that chance for each of you to have a shine moment, so that we can wrap up with something that seems significant, even if obviously we're not going to defeat Borgia in 4 sessions. That would not really be very epic now, would it? So when we come into next time, we will start with that recovery, which we will have a little downtime talking of you guys doing the recovery. I'll kind of tell you the plans that are going on, and we will go into a long journey. We'll get to our destination. I will We can decide then, but like I say, I like that first tier. But you know, we could go and try and rescue that community, or we could, you know, try and knock over was it Night Lord's Watch. But I do love that tier. But we'll do that, and like I say, I'd like to have a nice, satisfying end for our 4 sessions. Where we feel like, you know, we've accomplished something, or maybe even a lovely heartbreak at the end. I do love ending an arc of stories with a sad, sorrowful moment. So we'll see how it plays out. That'll be entirely up to how we do it. Thank you all for playing. I really enjoyed this session. I did not feel like I brought the best last time. I felt a little scattered, but this one really felt like we were all just really firing on every cylinder. Y'all were so amazing. So I'm going to thank whoever happens to be watching. Thank you, Jacob Randolph, for making this lovely game. Thank you, Gauntlet, for putting together such amazing people to play with. And I'm going to end the broadcast now. Oh, and of course, thank you to all of my amazing and wonderful players.